Okay, so you ever just feel like you're stuck, like in a loop? It can be anything, really. Like you open up Instagram or TikTok again, even though you just told yourself like 5 minutes ago, okay, I'm putting the phone down.
Oh,
Or it
no.
could be something bigger, something you like really know isn't good for you.
Right. It's like that classic, I know I should, but you get that disconnect between what you know intellectually and what you actually end up doing.
Exactly. And like willpower only gets you so far. You can white knuckle it for a while, but then you just snap right back into the old routine.
Yeah, yeah. Willpower is definitely not a superpower, that's for sure.
So today, we're going to dive into this TED Talk by Judson Brewer. He's got this like really interesting take on breaking bad habits. And the thing is, it's not about forcing yourself to stop.
It's more about like rewiring your brain's reward system, right?
Totally. And he talks about how mindfulness is like this secret weapon. So we're going to break it all down, give you guys the aha moments that could actually help you break free from those pesky habits.
This is stuff that can really make a difference in your life. I mean, who hasn't struggled with trying to change a habit at some point?
For real. Okay, so Brewer starts by talking about our brains,
Mhm.
right? Specifically the reward system. And like the basis of it is this learning loop. Stimulus, behavior, reward. Sounds simple, but it's how we like learn anything.
It's pretty fundamental, yeah.
So he uses this example of like finding food. Think back, way back when we were like cave people or whatever. Our brains are wired to seek out calories
Right.
because calories equal survival.
Right, pure survival mode.
See some berries or you hunt down a mammoth or something.
Mammoth.
You eat it. It gives you energy. Your brain goes ding, ding, ding. Remember this. This is good. Do this again.
So that connection between seeing the food, eating it, feeling good, it gets strengthened. It's how you learn what keeps you alive.
But then Brewer goes on to say, okay, this reward system, it's not just for survival anymore. It gets like hijacked for other stuff.
Yeah.
Like stuff that actually has nothing to do with staying alive.
Right, like when you have a really bad day and all you want is a giant bowl of ice cream.
Oh, or a whole pizza.
Pizza works too. So you're feeling down, that's your stimulus. The behavior is, diving headfirst into that pint of ice cream.
And the reward.
Well, you feel a little bit better, right? Even if it's temporary. And that's the thing. Your brain goes, hey, that worked. Remember this for next time.
So like we're training our brains to seek out that ice cream every time we feel bad.
That's it. And it can be anything, right? It doesn't have to be food. Brewer talks about teenagers who start smoking because they want to fit in.
Oh yeah, he talks about the whole Marlboro Man thing, like smoking equals cool and rebellious and all that.
Right. And that feeling of belonging, of being cool, that's the reward. It's not about surviving the harsh winters anymore. It's social survival, which to a teenager is like everything.
And that's where it gets tricky, right? Because
Yeah.
this reward system, which is meant to keep us alive, it starts creating habits that are actually like really bad for us.
Yeah, it can be a slippery slope. I mean, think about things like stress eating or, people who smoke to deal with anxiety. The trigger is that uncomfortable feeling, the behavior is the habit, and the reward is, well, feeling less anxious, even just for a moment. It's your brain trying to protect you, but in a way that actually ends up causing more harm.
And the crazy part is, Brewer points out that things like smoking and obesity are like leading causes of preventable death worldwide. So these reward loops, they can have huge consequences.
It's not just a matter of like eating too much cake or something. It's serious stuff.
Okay, so we've got this like really powerful reward system running the show. What about willpower? Because that's usually the first thing we try, right? When we want to break a bad habit, we try to just force ourselves to stop.
Right, grit our teeth and power through.
But like Brewer explains that this part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, which is the part that's like super smart and
The
rational,
one that can like plan for the future and understand consequences and all that.
that's the part that's supposed to be in charge of our willpower. But guess what?
It's not always so reliable, is it?
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Brewer says that the prefrontal cortex is like the first thing to go offline when we're stressed.
It's like, peace out, I'm out of here.
Which explains so much, right? Think about it. Like you've had a crazy day at work, you're exhausted, and then your partner forgets to take out the trash.
Uh-oh.
And even though you know you should be calm and understanding, you just like snap at them.
The trash-induced meltdown.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
It's because your prefrontal cortex, the voice of reason, is basically taking a nap.
So you revert back to those old like knee-jerk reactions and those habitual patterns.
Which is why willpower alone is like almost always a losing battle.
Yeah, it's like trying to hold back a flood with a teaspoon. It's just not going to cut it in the long run.
So Brewer's like, okay, forget willpower. Let's work with the brain instead of against it.
Enter mindfulness.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. So instead of trying to like white knuckle your way out of a craving or an urge, Brewer says, you know what? Get curious about it.
Really lean into it. Explore it.
I know it sounds kind of crazy, right? Like the last thing you want to do is like pay more attention to a craving.
But that's exactly the point. Brewer talks about this study he did with smokers. Instead of telling them to quit cold turkey, they were asked to just like smoke mindfully, pay attention to every single sensation.
And it's amazing what happened. Like he quotes this one smoker who, after trying this, said something like, man, this just tastes like stinky cheese and a bunch of chemicals. It's gross. It's
Yeah.
like that realization hit them on such a deeper level than just knowing smoking is bad.
Right. It's the difference between intellectual knowledge and what Brewer calls visceral wisdom. This smoker, they knew smoking was bad, but they never really experienced it like that before.
It's like suddenly the curtains pull back and you see the habit for what it really is.
It loses its appeal. The magic fades.
And that's what helps break the habit. Not willpower, but this like disillusionment that comes from really experiencing it.
And the beauty of it is it's not about forcing anything. It's about allowing yourself to see the truth of the experience.
Okay, so mindfulness. It's all about being curious, right? Not about trying to like shut down the craving or the urge.
It's about turning towards it instead of away from it. And that in itself can be rewarding, right? Like think about it. We're naturally curious beings. We love to learn new things.
Like our brains are wired for that aha moment.
Even if what we're learning about is something unpleasant, there's still a sense of satisfaction in understanding it better.
And when we get curious about our cravings, Brewer says it helps us realize that they're not these like big scary monsters.
They're more
Like little annoying gnats buzzing around.
yeah, that's a good one. They're made up of these individual sensations, Maybe it's tightness in your chest, a racing heart, a thought that keeps popping up. But the thing is, those sensations, they're not permanent. They come and go.
It's like instead of freaking out about the whole swarm of gnats, you just notice, okay, there's one, and now it's gone, and there's another one.
And you're not getting swept away by them. You're just observing.
Brewer even calls it becoming an inner scientist. Like you're gathering data points about your experience.
Instead of being the subject of the experiment, you become the researcher.
I love that. And the cool thing is, there's actual science to back this up. Brewer talks about how mindfulness training has been shown to be more effective for smoking cessation than traditional methods.
Like way more effective. And that's huge because it suggests that this isn't just some like woo-woo feel-good stuff. There's something real happening here.
And he even gets into the brain science of it all, right?
Yeah, he talks about how when we're mindful, there are actual changes in our brain activity.
There's this thing called the default mode network, which is like the part of our brain that's active when we're lost in thought, ruminating about the past, worrying about the future.
It's like our brain's autopilot. And one idea is that when we get caught up in a craving, this part of the brain, specifically the posterior cingulate cortex, it goes into overdrive.
So it's not just that we're having a craving, it's like we're completely consumed by it.
Yeah, we get totally lost in the story of the craving. I need this, I have to have this, and it feels so real and urgent.
But what they've found is that when people practice mindfulness, when they get curious about their experience, that same area of the brain, it actually calms down.
It's like, oh, okay, this is just a sensation, no big deal.
And that makes a huge difference in how we respond to those cravings.
Absolutely. And what's really exciting is that this understanding of the brain and mindfulness, it's being put into practice. Brewer talks about how there are all these apps and online programs being developed specifically to help people cultivate this kind of mindful awareness.
Which is so awesome.
Yeah.
Because it makes it accessible to everyone.
And the great thing about these apps is that they can be tailored to specific habits, and they can provide support and guidance right when you need it most.
And it's not just for like big things like smoking or overeating, right? Brewer says this applies to all sorts of everyday habits.
Oh, totally. Like checking your email every 5 seconds, even when you know there's nothing new, or like scrolling through social media mindlessly when you should be working.
Or like when you're driving and you feel your phone buzz and you just have to check it even though you know it's dangerous.
It's all the same principle. That trigger, that automatic reaction, and then that little hit of reward.
And Brewer's advice is, in those moments, try to just pause and notice. Get curious. What are you actually feeling? What are the sensations in your body? What are the thoughts running through your mind?
And instead of reacting, just observe. See what happens when you don't immediately give in to the urge.
And the more you practice this, the easier it becomes. It's like you're retraining your brain to respond differently.
It's not about fighting the old habit. It's about creating new, healthier pathways.
So to recap, the main takeaway here is that understanding how our brains work, specifically that reward system, and then learning to cultivate this mindful curiosity, it can be a game changer when it comes to breaking bad habits.
It's not about willpower. It's about wisdom. It's about seeing the habit clearly and letting go of the things that no longer serve us.
And that, my friends, is true freedom.
Word.
Okay, so here's something to think about this week. What's one little habit that you do almost without realizing it? Something that you know isn't really serving you.
It could be anything. Checking your phone constantly, biting your nails, whatever it is for you.
And this week, I challenge you to just try to become a curious observer of that habit. When the urge hits, don't judge yourself. Just notice it. What does it feel like in your body? What are the thoughts that come up?
See if you can just sit with it for a moment. You might be surprised by what you discover.
Who knows? You might even find yourself breaking free from that habit without even trying.
You never know.
Until next time, folks, happy habit breaking.
Stay curious out there.